Okay, so it's recording now. So, welcome, sir. Can you just give us a brief introduction about yourself?
Hi, Deborah. Good evening, and it's so nice to be on board with you, sharing my experience. And I'm Lieutenant Colonel Bharat Pannu. I've been cycling, long distance cycling since past 4 years, and in these 4 years, I've attended a number of events in India as well as outside. The experience has been amazing till now, and the best thing which I like about cycling is that I can get an opportunity to connect with a lot many people in India as well as outside.
Okay, sir. Very nice to meet you, also, sir. So, recently you completed virtual RAM. Okay. So, how was your experience about the virtual RAM and how it all started? About like how you wanted to ride for RAM?
So regarding the virtual race across America, it was not the direct thing which I had landed up into. Uh, I was preparing for race across America since 2018, and my training was on, my crew was in place.
And you
Uh,
broke your arm, I guess, at that point of
yes.
time.
So as I was going towards race across America, I did a number of events in India as well at that point of time, which included ultra spice race that is from Goa to Ooty and back to Goa. I did the course record over there. So we were quite excited about the 2019 race across America. But unfortunately, when I was there just at the start point, before 2 weeks before the start of the event, I broke my right collarbone, due to which I was not able to attend the event. And there was a downs, like everybody was demotivated, like how this thing has happened. I was so much prepared for the race. So after that, I decided to do a Guinness Book of World Record for Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and we broke the earlier record by 2 days, little over 2 days. So the team was quite excited after that, and we were all thrilled up towards Race Across America 2020, which we decided after 2019 failure or the collarbone fracture.
Okay,
So
so how was your trip about from Kashmir to Kanyakumari? Like, just give us a brief description of the trip.
yes, I'll come to that. I'll just wrap up the first question. It
Yes,
is
sure, sure.
as I was going towards Race Across America 2020, this Corona thing landed up, and we were like each and every sporting event around the world was getting cancelled. So Race Across America authorities also cancelled the this race, which was supposed to be held in June 2020, and they came up with an alternate idea of doing virtual Race Across America. So this was on the same platform, on similar lines, on the similar difficulty levels, uh, and it was open to all the participants who had registered for Race Across America and other participants as well. So it created a very good platform where people could come together and race against each other for 12 days. So that's how I landed up into that virtual Race Across America thing. Coming back to the second question, that is the Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Uh, the fracture which happened on 20th of May 2019, and I attempted Kashmir to Kanyakumari in October 2019. So that was a brief period of 5 months. And this fracture of collarbone requires about 3 months to heal up, at least 3 months to heal up, where I can put pressure on my handlebar and maneuver my bike, apply brakes, because riding in India or any place outside India, it requires a lot of attention. You need to brake, you need to have good control over your bike. So after 3 months of recovery of my collarbone, I started cycling, and with about 2 months of training, I started with the Kashmir to Kanyakumari. So my complete crew was there with me from Srinagar to Kanyakumari, and we finished the complete event in little more than 8 days. That is 8 days and 9 hours.
Okay. Actually, like it's really nice to know about your Kashmir to Kanyakumari trip because I was very eager to know about it. So, sir, like, how did you feel during the VRAM? Because I have been seeing the live videos of from Inspired India that you're riding and riding with your companion who was doing the I guess race across the waste. So, how did you feel? Like after a point of time, you had to ride alone, I guess. So,
Yes.
what was the whole experience during the race across America?
Uh, For VRAM, I was mentally prepared in a way that during the lockdown period, I was training indoors, and my training indoor rides used to be like 200 kilometers or 300 kilometers. There was no ride which was less than 160 kilometers. So I used to always ride in miles. I used to do minimum of 100 miles whenever I used to get on to my trainer. That is 160 kilometers and or beyond. So all these training which I had done two Everesting and two half Everesting as well on my trainer. So all these preparation, all these training rides which I had done indoors had a good gave me a good mental strength and physical strength to land up into VRAM. As we were started VRAM on 16th of June, I was not the complete team was prepared to just be a finisher. Like that was the bottom line because it is such a big event and looking towards the podium on day one, it's not realistic. We had first decided that okay, we should start the race. We should ensure that we finish the race on in time and within the time limit. But as we progressed towards the race on day fourth, I got into that top nine wala position. After that, on day six, I landed up into the top three position. And after that, it was just a matter that I had to just maintain the top three position. And by day 12th, I barely managed to retain the third position because the competition was too stiff and the competition in which there were riders like at number four was Marcelo Soares from Brazil. So he's a multiple times Trans Siberian finisher. That is a 9,000-kilometer race, and he's a RAM finisher as well. So the competition was really tough, and the crew stood up to the test. Crew and myself, as a team, we stood up to the test, and we sustained it, and we won the podium.
Okay, so congratulations for that. Have you finished the like point three? Uh, I will be just asking you another question. So, what is the difference which you felt between VRAM and the actual race across America, which happens in reality?
Uh, VRAM, as the name says, it is a virtual race. So there are very peculiar problems which are related to the virtual platform as compared to the real platform. For example, if in layman terms, if I say when I'm riding on a trainer, the flexion of the body, the lateral flexion, is very limited. We are riding on a very stationary bike which is fixed onto the trainer, and there's no lateral flexion. So your body tends to get more fatigued. Second thing, when you are going on a downhill, on a trainer, and as soon as the uphill starts or the flat starts, you are able, if you are in a real world, you are able to maintain the momentum. So you use that momentum to go ahead. But on a trainer, as soon as the downhill finishes, you don't have any momentum. So in the rolling terrain also, you are not able to gain that. You're not able to utilize that momentum of your bike to go ahead. As soon as the downhill finishes, you have to again start applying full force or the complete wattage to the system. Third thing, when we are riding outdoors, we always tend to do flex our body, do some exercises or stretching onto the bike itself. So while we are doing that, we utilize the momentum of the bike. Like we use whenever there is a downhill or something like that, we use that momentum to do all those stretching. And but on a trainer, if I stop pedaling, the bike stops immediately. So all these factors are very different. Saddle sores are very prominent while riding indoors. So all these problems make indoor riding a bit difficult more than the outdoor riding. And whosoever has ridden on trainer would agree to it always.
So, sir, like while you were riding and you have taken a rest, I have seen what you were going through in the stories. So, can you just tell us that how you felt once you got off the bike at the day end, or once you stopped to take some rest? So, how did you feel at that point of time?
Uh, so whenever the rest breaks were there, it was a planned break, and my crew used to decide all my rest breaks whenever they used to happen. So my first rest break happened after 38 hours of riding, and it was a mere 90 minutes break. So whenever I used to get down off the bike, I didn't had any thoughts. Like the crew was working in a pit stop in a F1 pit stop arena, and As soon as I get off, my shoes used to be removed. I just went to the washroom, take a quick shower of 20 to 30 minutes. It was like everything was like a clockwork. I used to get back to the bed and there the physiotherapy and the massage session used to start, and I used to just switch off. I used to just lie down and just go into the deep sleep. So those 90 minutes, like I've trained for that. So I've done so many races till now in India, wherever like, I've trained my body in a way that as soon as I get off the bike, I just take a quick shower, I get onto the bed, and I just uh, lie dead over there. So, and the physiotherapy and the massage sessions keep continuing for whatever the doctor, the physiotherapist wants to do. So they perform that actions on my body, and they utilize that sleep break for doing all those things, recovery things. So that can be cupping, that can be electrode, that current to stimulate the muscles. So all those things keep happening. The massage sessions they take place, and as soon as my sleep break is over, they just wake me in a cool and in a very smooth manner. Like it's not, they just don't jolt it up so that my mind is calm. I just get up, change it to the cycling rig, a new cycling rig, which is there for me, and just I get onto the bike. So there is nothing in my mind which I can think of because everything thinking part is taken care by the crew.
Okay, so like while you're riding long distances, like I have ridden around 750 kilometers, and it became very monotonous. How do you keep yourself motivated? Because while I was riding, or say anybody else was would have been riding, they used to get bored or something like that, as it becomes very monotonous. Plus, on a trainer, it's a very hard job riding on a trainer for such long distance and staying on a trainer for approximately 12 days. So, how did you motivate yourself?
So there are two factors which keep me motivated. First is the amount of training which I do for the event. It is so large, like the quantity is so much that the event itself looks small to me. So when you train that much, then the event in the event when you are riding and you feel that yes I'm getting there are lows and highs. So during the lows I remember the training days. So the training days have been so tough that how can I let myself down. I've trained so hard for this event, I cannot let myself down, so I cannot give up. Second thing which keeps me moving is that the crew gives me small goals. So my goals are limited to 15 minutes, my goals are limited to 30 minutes, 1 hour, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. So I have those small goals which keep mounting up to 24 hours. So I see the bigger goal. The bigger goal is that how much I have written in the past 24 hours. And the small goal is that how much I have written in that 1 hour. So all these things, if I look at that 12-day race, then it is very difficult for me to maintain my momentum or maintain my enthusiasm. But as I keep riding for those 1 hour, 3 hours, 6 hours, and 12 hours, and then 24 hours. So these smaller goals keep me moving, and I just see towards the smaller goals. And as I see towards the smaller goal, the bigger goal keeps shortening. It keeps on decreasing.
Okay, so was there any difference between the food intake during RAM and before RAM? Any specific diet, like not into it, but just a overview of it?
Yes, there are like two aspects to this. One is the diet during the training days. So during the training days, I'm on ultra low carb diet. Earlier, I've done keto diet as well, which was to bring my body into perfect shape for this event. And after that, I used to always undergo a ultra low carb diet, which used to provide me enough protein and fats for my body requirements. And uh, I used to avoid all the carbohydrates, whether it be wheat, rice, sugar. Like all these three things were never existed in my meal. And during the ride, I always sustain myself on the liquid nutrition. I've done whatever events I've done, whether it be K2K, the Ultra Spice race, or any other race around Austria. So with all these experience, I've come to know that yes, my body needs this much amount of liquid nutrition per hour, and this is the electrolyte quantity which I require per hour. So I always work on that. So during this virtual race across America thing, I was working on those same lines, but This race was a bit different as it was indoors. We didn't had any experience of indoor riding before. We had experience of indoor riding during the training days, but those rides were like small rides. Small rides, it's like not small rides actually, but 200 kilometers or 300 kilometers. So after that, it used to finish, and I used to had a good meal. So I never felt that this indoor riding is so much demanding. So when I was doing this multi-day indoor riding event, so on the day third, the crew used to monitor my weight every 4 to 6 hours. So on day third, that we realized that I've almost lost 4 kgs of weight, and it could have landed up into some medical emergency. So we check back on our data and everything, like, so we concluded that the amount of calories which I'm the intake of calories, which is around 250 calories per hour, is not able to sustain my output which I'm giving on the trainer. So the intake and output ratio was disbalanced, so we had to increase our intake to over 450 calories per hour. And that made the difference. That was able to sustain me towards till the end of the race, and I was able to actually go through in a sustained way. Otherwise it wouldn't have been possible. So I supplemented my liquid nutrition along with solid nutrition after that, and I was eating dalia, khichdi, dal, and other than that, bread omelette, boiled eggs, and dry fruits. So all these things jumbled up, and we were able to sustain the pressure of the race. Also, I would like to add one more thing: the calorie output, like how we were able to see the calorie output, because there were total. My complete body was covered with red marks, like the amount of these red dots. So the amount of energy or the amount of heat which I was radiating was so high that my skin was not able to tolerate it, and that's why that my complete body, my back, shoulders, chest, arms were covered, legs were covered with, there were rashes on it, and they were covered with red dots, red marks. So that was a very clear indicator. The doctor picked up the signs, and it was a clear indicator that yes, the amount of heat which I am radiating is too high. And to cope up with that heat, I was having 4 fans around me. One was a ceiling fan, one was a standing fan, pedestal fan in front of me, one fan especially for my legs, and one fan for my back. So all these components which integrated together, and yes, we were able to sustain the pressure of the race.
Wow, that's like really great to know how much you have struggled to reach to this point. So I'll just ask you that what was the feeling before joining the race, like before starting the race actually, the last 1 hour?
So, like, I've been answering this question again and again, and with time, I have coped up. Like, my mind is already set that yes, it is a big event. So that adrenaline rush, which happens during the start of the event, is like non-existent for me. So it is like it's just a normal thing for me. Like it is
It's
just
just a
just
normal
another,
ride.
it is just another training ride for me. So I'm very cool and calm. I'm talking to my crew members. I'm checking out that yes, my bike is fine, my kit is okay. I've applied my chamois cream, and I've eaten what I'm supposed to eat before the ride starts. So before the ride starts, I check my bike, and like it's just a normal ride for me. And because there's nothing to be excited about, because it's a 12-day race, so we have to catch that it is a 12-day race. How can I be excited at the start? I don't need to push. I need to start at a very calm pace. So if you look at the stats, when I started, like I was the last person for complete 1 day. So
Yes, yes.
that's how I do my races in my ultra spice race or any other race. My day one is always cool and calm. I never push myself on day one, and I pick up the pace slowly.
Like hats off to you, because I always get nervous before my BRMs, like the 200-kilometer BRM which I did last time. I was very nervous, but after hearing your story, I'm planning to go for the SR. Just like this question has to come after this. How did you feel after completing 4,086 kilometers?
Yes. So after completing that, like my coach and my team, everybody told me that you won't be touching this bike again, at least till the time you don't feel that yes, I should ride. So that was the one feeling which was moving me, because it it got to a point where I started hating the bike. because I was on bike for like 11 days or more than 11 days, 12 days, and it was just not riding; it was actually racing. And the racing was such that you can figure out the difference. The difference of between the second position, third position, and fourth position was so narrow that we were actually racing to get onto that podium. The person who came second was Lee Putnam from United Kingdom, and his distance was 4,126. I at the third position was running at kilometer 4,086, and the person who stood fourth from Brazil, that is Marcelo Soares, he was with a figure of 4,069. So the competition was very stiff, and we were actually racing after fatigue of these 11 days and so many hours. We were actually racing to maintain our positions, to retain our positions, and that was making the life hell. And we were enjoying that phase, but definitely it was hell. Riding the bike for so long, and after that we have to race. It actually uh, sucks everything out of your body, and you feel that vacuum inside your body. Yes, I need rest now.
Okay, so apart from VRAM, obviously VRAM and other races are very completely different. Uh, like, what was the hardest race? I won't be using that term hardest because it's not for you. Like, what was the most difficult race apart from VRAM you have faced till date?
Uh,
Like in India.
Actually, every race has got its own tough points, own points where you tend to give up. You feel that why I've landed up to do this race. What is the what is the point? Why I'm doing this? People are sleeping right now across the globe, and like back in India, people are taking rest. So, like, every race has such points where you feel so low. Why I'm doing this? So it is very difficult to grade that which race was toughest or which was easiest. So whether it be India or outside, I've done race around Austria, Ultra Spice, number of editions I've done, like all the editions I've done till date, and the VRAM thing. So, like, there are peculiar challenges of each and every event. If I say for race around Austria, the Alps, when I was riding in the Alps mountains, that was the difficult thing, most difficult thing which I had encountered during that race. Because we in India are not used to riding in gradients above 5 degree, 5 degrees. So in Alps, the gradient was nothing less than 9 degrees. Like it was usual for them for riding at 12 degree of gradient or 15 degree of gradient. So we really had a tough time there, and we were just not prepared for that. So that was the difficulty level there. During the VRAM thing, the most difficult thing which I encountered was the elevation gain. So whenever we ride, like if I'm climbing a hill, after that there comes a downhill, and we are able to relax our muscles, and at least we are able to again get ready to face the next challenge. But during the VRAM thing, there was just climbing and climbing and climbing. There was never a downhill. So it was just a steep gradient of climbing, and the issue was that this was very well covered in social media also. Like whenever you are doing a race, you always climb and you come down. So as Race Across America starts from the west coast to east coast, so both side you are starting from the sea level. So that means whenever you climb, you come down as well. But in Race Across America, you were just climbing and you were never coming down because the race authorities decided that that is the only difficulty which they can induce in the race because there is no cold, there is no heat, there is no rainfall, there is no snow. So all these factors have been removed. But what they have added is the only thing difficulty they have added is the elevation gain. So in the actual Race Across America, the elevation gain is 53,500 meters, but in virtual race across America, the elevation gain was 77,500 meters. So that made our life during that race.
That's
Uh,
a lot.
if, I, if I talk about the Ultra Spice race, the difficulty level, difficulty in it is that there is wildlife on the road. And like elephants are roaming around in the Nilgiri hills and Ooty. So all these factors, each race has its own difficulty or own challenges.
Okay, so thank you the way you told describe your journey. Now I will be just asking you that what is your lookout about the bicycle or the cycling culture in India? Uh, just is it growing or is it changing? Like how's the culture now?
I'm myself part of that change. I've seen the change which I've witnessed the change myself, and I'm myself growing with it. So I've cycled for about fourth year. This is my fourth year into this serious cycling business where I've been racing with in different categories in ultra cycling. So I have seen that yes, culture is changing for good, and people are getting aware that yes, cycling is good for their health, and this is the most basic and easiest thing to do. You just get out, take your bike, get on the road, and do some cardio exercises for an hour and come back. So that is it. You don't need to take your car to a gym, do a session, and come back. So that way, cycling is very easy. All the family members can do it without taking gym subscription. In that same subscription amount, you can buy a very good cycle and do physical good fitness activities at home. So this is changing for good, and people are coming out to. The best thing is that people are you like getting aware of the fact that yes, racing is also a part of life. Like we have seen good movies like Jo Jeeta Bhai Sikandar during our childhood days, and like I myself see myself when I'm racing, that picture comes into my mind like Jo Jeeta Bhai Sikandar. So I have to just race and win the race. I never think that I can allow anyone to come ahead of me. So that feeling keeps me moving towards the race.
Okay, so like till now, how many bicycles have you used to reach up to this level?
So I have three bikes with me. One is the aero bike, one and two are endurance bikes. So these three bikes have been part of my journey throughout, and I never used like I never felt need to for any other bike. Now, as I've seen my podium finish in VRAAM, so now I'm thinking of adding a time trial bike into my kitty. So I think the obvious choice for me will be the Scott Plasma, and soon I'll be riding on it.
Okay, my next bike is the Scott Addict after the
Okay.
Speedster. Plasma I'm not taking because in Kolkata we do not have roads for a time trial bike. Okay, so now are you planning something in future like something more bigger than VRAM like the Trans Siberian Extreme, anything
Uh,
like that?
my see you could have gauged right now gauged with the talk right now that my only goal right now is race across America. I have been preparing for this race since 2017 after I
Yes.
finished my race around Austria. So in 2018 I went to crew a US team in 2018 RAM, so that I can see the race myself and I can prepare myself mentally. Yes, coming towards such a big target or a big race. In 2019, I landed up, but unfortunately, due to fracture, I was not able to do it. In 2020, due to the COVID-19 situation, I was not able to do it. So now the eyes are on Race Across America 2021, and all my races in between, whatever I do, will be towards the preparation of Race Across America 2021.
Okay, so just can you share some small tips about like basic tips about say hydration or anything like that for all the cyclists who will be watching you after like tomorrow or anytime?
So I will share two tips. One tip is that which keeps everyone moving is that have a goal for yourself. However small the goal is, you have to set a goal, and setting a goal is not important. Setting a goal with a deadline is important. So you have a goal with a deadline, and have that self respect for yourself. Yes, I've set a goal for myself and I have to achieve it within this deadline. If you do this, then definitely you will keep progressing ahead, and do a self check for this always. Second thing is that yes, hydration and nutrition is very important, or both these factors cannot be neglected. I've seen people who ride for 1 hour and they say that no, it was only for 1 hour, but your body is not tuned up for this stress for 1 hour that you are riding. So you need to provide it with proper electrolytes, proper hydration, and proper nutrition. So never underestimate that these things cannot be taken for right. They harm. If you're doing hours right and you think that yes, I have my nutrition and hydration was okay, but in the end, what will happen that you, in spite of the benefits, you will end up uh, losing out something from your body, which you will not like. In a long run, you will not feel that difference of adding up to your stamina. You will be losing out something in form of muscles.
Okay, so thank you, sir, for sharing us your knowledge and experience about virtual RAM. So this I will be ending it over here, and it was really a nice session. Okay,